Hey there, and welcome to this month's Real Estate Market Report, giving you all of the information you need about buying and selling homes here in North Texas. Well, there's a lot of uncertainty right now in the air. Interest rates, are they going up? How's that affecting prices? Are things going to go crazy this year like they have in the last couple of years? And is there going to be inventory out there? Are you going to be fighting with people if you're looking to buy a house? Or are people going to be fighting over your house when it comes time to sell yours? Hey, well, in just a couple of minutes here, we're going to go over all of that information. But before we get too far off in the weeds, let's just go ahead and get to some of the numbers here. And one of the things that we're all looking at right now, the thing that's maybe the stumbling point for a lot of people is sales price on a house. Are things going to continue to go crazy? This can affect when you want to sell it. Do you want to hold on to it for longer to make more money? Is now the high point? Is now a good time to buy? Well, let's see what the numbers say. As we go over here, you can see we've had our pretty steady, this is all the way back to 2003. We had our steady numbers where in January it's low and then it shoots up until the summer, comes back down. Every summer it's that way, or every year it's that way. We have the same thing here. This is the year before COVID, and then COVID did its thing. We're still at our lowest in January. It blew up here after it wasn't quite sure, went back down just barely. Then here in 21, oh my goodness, it shoots up like we've never seen before, barely comes back down in 22. Then in 22, it does the same thing again this last year where things were crazy. Now remember, this is when interest rates were only 3%, 3.5%. That's what causes these numbers to explode up in part because people can afford more, which means, look, if I can afford a $40,000 more mortgage for the same monthly payment, okay, I'll go ahead and do that. That's what caused this. But this last year, interest rates, which we'll get to in a few minutes, went back up. They went above 7%. We're above 6% now with all the different programs we have going on. You can still get into the 4%. But just know right now we're sitting above 6%. Went down here. But look, so January, our normal lowest. And then we have a little shoot up right here. Now, that looks pretty drastic. But if we put that into context, the difference here, so we had about $352,000 in January as the average cost in the Metroplex. And it went up to $370. So $352 to $370. I'm going to go ahead and struggle with my math here, but that's about $18,000 difference that went up between January and March. If we look the year before, $340,000. And it went up to $367. So it went up $27,000. This last year we only went up $18,000. The year before, $280,000, and it went up to $302,000. So it went up $22,000. So you can see the amount that we have here is almost the same as what we had before COVID. So here, $252,000. No, sorry, let's go here in 2019. $232,000, and it went up to $256,000. So there we had, oh my goodness, $22,000. So even then, post-COVID, we had less of an increase in price than we do now. So that's a good thing for most everyone. We don't want to see the numbers continue to explode the way that they have, but so we're still really solid for sellers, but for buyers, we're not exploding up as much as we did this last year. It lends itself to the belief that this really was an anomaly in the last couple of years, due in part because of interest rates. Let's talk about month supply in here. This is usually my last slide, just it tells us where the market is, but I'm going to go to it right now. We can see that right now we are over 2.5 months of inventory. Last year when things went crazy, we were at 1. In some counties, we were below 1 month of inventory. Now, let me say, we would like to have more than 2.4 months. And a lot of people are going to say you have to be up here to 6 months to be in a neutral market where buyer and sellers have the same amount. I think that's nonsense. We have to put it in a rubric that's in the context of North Texas. So here, you can see if we did 6 months, we would have never actually been in a seller's market. This is when they first started keeping track in this way in the system. So 8.8 isn't accurate there. So we are constantly here. When we get into more where sellers or our buyers have a little more power, it's when we get close to 4 months. I don't think we're going to get back there, but right now, 2.5 months, that's not bad. I'm not going to say it's a neutral market because sellers still definitely have a little more power than buyers. However, North Texas, that is not all too bad. I want to show you one more thing on here as well. This is the percentage of asking price that people are getting. Last year when things were stupid, they were getting 3% over on average. So just know on a $300,000 house, they were getting 9,000 over on average. So there was many getting 18,000 over as getting nothing. There were as many getting way over as many getting way under. So just know right now we're still at 97%. So I think a lot of the time the buyers or the sellers are putting it on with a little anticipation, maybe a little optimism that they're going to get these top numbers, and they're actually coming down a little bit. We'll see when we get into May how the April numbers look on that. But right now it looks like when we're under this 100%, then the buyers do have a little more power. Hey, well, I've alluded to it a couple of times, but I want to go ahead and look at interest rates here. So this is for the 30-year fixed and a 15-year fixed. So as we look here right now, so this is the week ending on April 13th, so yesterday, this week, we're looking at 6.27%. Now, we were a little bit higher. We were above 7% here for a little while in October. And if we go back into April, it was down in 5%. So I know this is not sounding great. Like, well, we're still pretty high. I'm going to go back and it's going to get worse before it gets better. So let me go back. Oh, we have to scroll up a little bit here. I'm going to go to right here. If we go back to 3 years. Oh my goodness, this looks even worse. Sorry, let me get back here on my screen. Like, oh man, we're still real high compared. Okay, well, I think I'll probably get more popular. I'm going to get less popular before I get more popular. That's kind of how my life goes. Okay, well, we're still really high. Geez, what's the deal here? We're back to 2018, 2019. Let me go back 10 years. Ben, what you're saying still doesn't make any sense because here we're back in 2014, 2013. We're still higher than all of that. I'm going to go back further. This is where things start to make sense. If you look at things in a historical context, right now we're still in really good shape. Here we are at 6.42%, where we are now. Everything above this line, so pretty much anything when we get before the 90s, when they started keeping track in the 70s, we're in really good shape right now. We're at about average for what the cost has been or what the rate has been throughout history here. So just know that it seems like it's kind of a stinky situation where we're paying more than we were a few years ago and even for the last few decades. But just know we're still historically in a good spot. And beyond that, lenders have started to get creative where people were getting used to that 3-4%. So now a lot of them have programs where you can buy down that rate. And a lot of times you would ask the seller to take care of that instead of changing the price of the house. Say, look, we want you to buy in this program that gets my rates down. You can get them down 1, 2, 3 percentage points just with a buy down that program. If you need some more information on that, I got some guys that'll answer the questions for you. They're not going to hound you or call you all day. Hey, but if you're interested in what the house, your house value is, hey, give me a holler. I'll just run it for you. I'm not going to give you a call every day and try to pressure you into doing something. I'll get you straight answers on that. What it's going to cost, how much money you actually need in the bank to buy one. And what that timeline looks like as well. I'm happy to buy you a sandwich or we're going to chat on the phone. Hey, but if anything else I can do for you, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm Ben Howard, and I'll talk to you soon.